Dzień za dniem, noc za nocą. Nasze życie upływa pod bezkresnym niebem. Marzymy o rzeczach wielkich, ale życzymy sobie rzeczy prostych. Myślami wybiegamy do przodu, ale jesteśmy świadomi, że życie toczy się tu i teraz. Spoglądamy w niebo z dobrego miejsca na ziemi.
Witajcie moi drodzy w kujawsko-pomorskiej e-Szkole. Nie wiem, czy to dobra, czy zła wiadomość, ale prawdopodobnie jest to ostatnia lekcja języka angielskiego dla maturzystów. Jest z nami pani profesor Monika Zalewska i nie wiem, czy to potwierdzi.
I have no idea if it's the last one, but I don't think so. I think we are going to meet next week. We are going to, meaning I think it's planned, and all the signs all around me kind of point to that kind of fact. We're going to talk about that later, but we're going to start with the tenses that we finished last time. So we did the present tenses and present perfect. Yeah, so present simple, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. And I gave you two pieces of homework, one for the present tenses, so present simple, present continuous, and then, well, for the bunch of them a little bit. So we're going to start with homework, and we shall see how you did. I hope you did it at home, so I hope you have your own answers, and then if anything is different, or if you've done something differently, tell me in the comments and I'll try to explain, okay? So could you explain what this very, very long word, which I'm not going to read, means, please? The word has a certain meaning. It's passive by nature. Something means that is present simple. You could use mean. No, actually, you could not use it. Mean is the passive verb, so something means I didn't mean to hurt you. This is a passive verb. You shouldn't be used in the continuous tense. I was meaning to ask you, this could be used in the past continuous in the meaning of I was planning to, but this is very limited. In the meaning of meaning, then you shouldn't use it in the continuous tense. Okay, each song only costs or is only costing. Definitely something costs something. It's a passive quality of the thing. It costs something, so costs definitely not is costing. So each song only costs 50 cents at the moment because they are on special offer. It doesn't matter, or it isn't mattering which of the books we've studied this term you do your essay on. Definitely it doesn't matter. This is something that should not be used in the continuous tense. It's only a quick call as I, from my mobile here, this is happening at the moment, so it's only a quick call as I am ringing from my mobile. I think I recognize, or I'm recognizing that woman over there. You recognize or you don't recognize, just like with understand or believe or love. One way or the other. There is nothing in the middle, nothing that you can say only for a short, limited, temporary period of time. So I think I recognize that woman there. Wasn't she on that quiz show last night? Excuse me, does the nut cake contain, or is the nut cake containing? Definitely present simple. This is something that the cake has inside, possesses inside. Therefore, it should be in the passive, kind of in this stable, permanent meaning, so present simple. Does the cake contain walnuts? I really don't agree. I'm really not agreeing the capital punishment deters people from committing murder. This is an opinion. Opinions should not be used in the continuous tense, just like feelings. Therefore, I don't agree. Yes? Why don't you play? Why aren't you playing football, Mark? I thought you had a match this afternoon. So you see somebody sitting in the house and you say to them, well, why are you here? Why aren't you playing football right now? I think you had a match this afternoon. Why don't you play football? That would be a suggestion for Mark to pick up a new hobby, for example. Yes, to take up football. Yes, that would be a suggestion, not a statement as that we want here. When you question that we want here, why aren't you playing? Why are you here? Yes. Stay out of this, Simon. It doesn't concern, or it isn't concerning you at all. Definitely it doesn't concern you, meaning it's not something that is connected to you. Stable, permanent, definitely present simple. You really resemble or are resembling your father when you frown like that. Also the quality that somebody possesses, it should not be used in the continuous tense, so you really resemble your father. If you're not watching, or if you don't watch TV, turn it off. We're talking activity at the moment of speaking, so if you're not watching TV, turn it off at the very moment. The number you have dialed does not exist or is not existing. Exists or doesn't exist. Definitely kind of a quality, permanent quality. Therefore, it should not be used in the continuous tense. So the number you have dialed does not exist. I want everyone to exercise H, to do exercise H, and that includes or is including you, and definitely that includes you. This means it also concerns you. This is something that you have to do now as well. Then we have the living room repainted, so it's probably best if we go into the kitchen. We want to go into the kitchen because something is actually happening at the moment somewhere else, so this should be present continuous. We are having the living room repainted, so it's probably best if we go into the kitchen, and we are having the room painted, that's have something done. Therefore, it's not the meaning of have that I told you about, meaning possess, okay? And right now, my job involves or is involving a huge amount of foreign travel. This is what my job entails, contains in a way. So this is present simple, my job involves. Okay? I hope everybody had it like that. If you have any questions why, tell me, I will explain. Okay, the second one was on present perfect and present perfect continuous. So they have filled or they have been filling over 6 bags with rubbish from the beach already. 6, how many? Therefore, present perfect simple. They have filled over 6 bags with rubbish. If you said they have been filling 6 bags, that means 6 bags at the same time being filled. Yes? 6 bags they have filled, that means you're talking about the outcome in a way, the result of it. So 6 bags are ready. Have you followed or have you been following that story in the papers about the elephant? This I would put into the continuous tense. Have you been following? Meaning this is a story that has been going on for some time. So the stress is on the activity, on the story, on the running of the story, and on the time that it has been running. Yes? Apparently, they have just caught or have been catching it. This is the emphasis is on the result. The animal, so the what was that? The elephant has been caught. So this is present perfect simple. Apparently, they have just caught it. Okay? They have been seeing the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, Oxford Street, and they've only been here for 3 hours. So the number of things presented, we have the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, Oxford Street, 3 things. How many different things, one at a time? Definitely present perfect simple. They have seen the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, and Oxford Street. This is present perfect simple. It's the first time. I gave it to you last time, or I will give it to you today. I'm not sure which one. We'll see. It's the first time, definitely present perfect. This is life experience, yes? And this is the first time I have heard the editors play live. And this is the first time I've done something. Present perfect simple is the best idea in here. Jake and I have thought or have been thinking about where to go on holiday for weeks, but we can't decide. 2 factors to take into consideration. For weeks, so the stress is on time, and we still haven't decided. That means the activity is still continuing. There is no effect, therefore, present perfect continuous. Jake and I have been thinking about where to go. You can't want to go to the toilet already. We've only driven or we've been driving for about 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes. Time is stressed, so we've only been driving for about 10 minutes. Time is stressed, present perfect continuous. I've been standing up all day and my feet are killing me. The stress is on the activity on the whole day. I know the feet are killing this person, but this person might be still standing. So the stress is more on the activity time and the result a little bit, but not mainly on the result. So it's better to use, I've been standing up all day and my feet are killing me. I'm still standing, right? As Elton John would sing. Has John worked or has John been working for the company since it started? So you're asking about the whole period of time that since the company started until now. So the stress is on time and continuation. Present perfect continuous is better. However, in this situation, both could work. Has Jan worked for the company since it started? This is one of those sentences that I gave you at the beginning when I talked about present perfect and present perfect continuous. Sometimes there is no difference. Sometimes you can use either. And in this situation, you could actually use either. I would go for the present perfect continuous because the stress is on time, but it's up to you. In here, you could choose either of the two. Okay, so homework is done. And what we have to kind of move on to are narrative tenses. But before we go there, I would just like to put on the timeline that I drew in here the tense that we've already discussed. So present perfect in here. So as we said, present perfect is a tense that started in the past, but we don't care really when, and it has a clear effect on the present. Okay? So somewhere in here, something happened, but it has a result in the present. You have broken your leg, you have changed your hairstyle, you have gained or lost weight. You see the result of a past activity. We don't care when. Or it's something that started in the past, I don't really know when, or I don't care when, but it still continues, and the continuation until the present is the most important. Therefore, present perfect in here. Now, you look at that, because when we talk about narrative tenses and generally past tenses in English, they are very, very logical, and everything can be put on a timeline and can be presented in a way that you can easily understand. And then every time you have a story, for example, in which you have to figure out which tense it is, you can always put it in on the timeline and figure out for yourself. Okay? So let's have a look. The next tense that we have to talk about is past simple. Past simple is the simplest tense ever. It has basically two rules. One rule is an event that happened and finished in the past. For example, I grew up in the country. It finished in the past because growing up is something that is connected with kids. I am definitely not a kid. I'm a grown-up woman, and I grew up in the country. That means when I was a kid, I lived in the country. And this period, this event, is finished in the past. So when I was a kid, this is somewhere here, and I grew up in the country. It doesn't matter how long it lasted. What matters is that it happened in the past, it lasted some time, and it's finished. It has no connection to the present. Look, present perfect always is always connected to the present. Past simple is never connected to the present. So I grew up in the country, grew up, finished. I was born in, and I'm not going to tell you the year, but I was born in a year. Then you could put it as just an event, yes? In here, that's it. And that's also past simple, yes? I can tell you that my daughter was born in 2004, yes? And that's an event, finished, that's it. It happened, that's it, okay? And the time is known or given, and that's very important. Past simple is in the past, happened in the past, even if it lasted some time. But it happened in the past, it finished in the past, and the time is understood or straight out given. So when I say, I grew up in the country, that means when I was a kid, I lived in the country. So you do understand more or less the time reference, yes? When I was a kid, because I grew up, well, who grows up? Children. Look at those examples. I moved to tutoring to study. I don't have to tell you when, because I'm not a student anymore, I'm a teacher. So I finished studying a long time ago. So I moved to tutoring to study. That means I moved to tutoring when I wanted to study. So that's set in the past, that's it. That's an event like a tiny cross on my timeline. And my mother died in 2012, that's straight out time given, and you said it in the past, it happened, that's it. That's it about past simple, it's very, very simple. An event, not necessarily very short, it could have lasted a long time, but an event that happened over a period of time or just happened in the past, finished, and you know when, because it's given in the sentence on you or you understand, okay? Now, how does it compare to past continuous? Past continuous, so all those continuous tenses with ing, remember, an action in progress at a point in the past. And this is the typical use of past continuous. So when I was having a shower, a phone rang, yes? So an action in progress at a point in the past. Look at my sentence. Yesterday, at this time, I was preparing this presentation. That means at this hour, yesterday, I was in progress of preparing something. And then you can present past continuous as something like that. So this is an action that was in progress at some point. You were doing something, something was happening at this very point, okay? Have a look that this sentence doesn't contain past simple, because the typical past continuous when we normally explain past continuous. We say that it's an activity that was stopped by another one, but it doesn't have to be. It could be, past continuous could be about two progressive events happening at the same time. So it's not true that this action has to be stopped. Of course it could be, but it doesn't have to. So while I was watching a film, my sister was making a cake in the kitchen. Quite a few spelling mistakes there, sorry. While I was watching a film, my sister was making a cake in the kitchen. So two activities happening at the same time, two people who were in progress of doing something at the same time, okay? But having said that, I have to go to the piece of theory that we usually give when we talk about past continuous, that it's usually background information to other events. So it's when you present a situation that was in progress at a point in the past and it was interrupted by another activity. So you have background information. I was walking home yesterday and something happened when I saw a stray puppy in the street. Okay, so I was walking down the street when I saw something. So past continuous is a tense that presents an action in progress during which something could have happened, but it didn't have to, yes? You could just talk about two activities that were in progress of happening at the same time, like with the sister. I was watching a film, my sister was baking a cake in the kitchen. Two things happening at the same time. Okay, so you have present perfect, you have past simple and past continuous. Okay, so what are we left with? We're left with past perfect and past perfect continuous, okay? Past perfect is a tense which is not really that often used. Why? Because when we tell stories, we usually tell them chronologically. So we present events chronologically and we do not need past perfect. Past perfect is a past tense that happened before another past tense. That's what everybody knows. However, in order to use it, you should keep in mind two different situations. The first situation is when chronology of events is broken. So when you use flashbacks in your story, okay? For example, when I got back home yesterday, I opened the door, went inside and saw that the house had been burgled. So somebody burgled my house, but somebody burgled my house before I came back there. So the chronology of events here is broken. Have a look, let me present it in here. You have, when I got back home yesterday, I opened the door, I went inside, and I saw that somebody had burgled my house, but the burglary happened here, before, yes? So this flashback, this jump backwards in time, that's past perfect, okay? This is the first reason, or this is the first sort of circumstances in which you can use past perfect. Otherwise, if events are chronological, you should know, not unless it is important that one event was complete before another could start. So, after the fire had been extinguished, the firemen went inside to look for clues. So they had to finish extinguishing the fire before they actually went inside. And the second one, after the plane had landed, the passengers stood up and left the plane and disembarked. So the plane had to finish the landing in order for the passengers to stand up. And that's important. Yes, the completion of one event, especially with the word after. Yes, the conjunction after. Then you can use past perfect even with chronological events when you stress completion. Okay? Normally, this is what it looks like. Let me show you also the second one, which is past perfect continuous. The rules in here, past perfect continuous, just like all the continuous tenses, action in progress at a point here in the past. So it applies, you have to apply the same kind of reasoning to past perfect. So it's an action that happened before another past action or was in progress before another action. This is something which we call in Polish czynność niedokonana. So it's kind of an unfinished action, action in progress. And this is what you should be thinking about when you use past perfect continuous. Look, When I came into the kitchen, I saw it was in a complete mess, so it was clear to me that my children had been cooking. Look, I'm going to present it again, yes? I came into the kitchen, I saw it was a mess, and it was clear to me, so I realized that my children, before that, had been cooking, okay? So, if I used it in a chronological sense, then my children were cooking for some time, and then I came home, and then I saw it was in a mess, and I realized that they had been cooking, okay? So if you did it in kind of chronological sense, then you would use past continuous and past simple, past simple, past simple, yes? But if you do it like that, you start with yourself coming back home, you come back home, you open the kitchen, you see it, you realize the children beforehand had been cooking. That's past perfect. Okay, and past perfect continuous. So everything when it comes to past tenses and when it comes to English has a place, has one certain function on a timeline in English, okay? Have a look, the black thing, that's present perfect. It's always connected to the present. That's something that you have to remember. Present perfect is connected by result or by continuation. That's it. Past simple is an event, single event, or a longer event that took place in the past, lasted some time or not, but it's finished and you know when it happened, okay? You know when it happened. Now, past continuous is an event that was in progress of happening at a point in the past, which could have been interrupted, but it didn't have to be. So action in progress at a point in the past, okay? Now, past perfect is a tense that you use when you use flashbacks, so when you break chronology, yes? I came home, I opened the door, I saw that the house had been burgled. I came home from work, I opened the kitchen, it was in a mess, and I immediately knew that the children had been cooking. You break chronology, you use past perfect. The only situation in which you can use past perfect without breaking chronology is when you stress the completion of one or activity before the other. Obviously, past perfect, I hope you know, is often used in other circumstances, actually more often used in other circumstances. So for example, in third conditional or mixed conditional, in reported speech, then you use quite a lot of past perfect. In normal kind of conversations, past perfect is used only in those two circumstances, okay? So those are narrative tenses, and I prepared a few sentences to kind of show you the different meanings that you can convey when you speak English using tenses, okay? I am so sorry that I have never met your mother. I will do it next time we go to the USA, okay? I'm so sorry. I have never met your mother until today. If you use present perfect, that means you can still meet her. So that's the promise. I will do it next time we go to the USA. Now look at the second sentence. I am so sorry that I never met your mother. I'm sure she was a wonderful woman. This sentence, because you used past simple, so I never met your mother, that implies that the mother is dead, that you can't really meet her anymore. I'm sorry I never met her. I'm sure she was a wonderful woman. If you use past simple about her, that means she's dead and you don't have a chance to meet her at all, okay? Next sentence. I am happy because I have passed my driving test. Look also at this situation. You have present simple here. Present simple would naturally go in a pair with present perfect. Present perfect naturally goes in a pair with past simple. Past simple naturally goes in a pair with past perfect or with present perfect. You should never use sentences in which you connect, for example, future simple and past perfect. They don't go together. There is a certain order of things and they go in twos in different situations. Present perfect with past simple. Present perfect would never go with past perfect. Past perfect is another event before a past event, and this past event should be past simple. So you don't jump across, you use them in combinations. So that's why I put it in here. I am happy now, result in the present, because I have passed my driving test. Now, if you put it in the past and you said, I was happy yesterday when you called me, that was because I had passed, before being happy, I had passed my driving test. Look how they go in pairs. I am happy because I have passed. I was happy because I had passed my driving test. Okay? When I came to the party, and this is a very good example to show you kind of shades of meanings in English that you can convey using tenses, whereas in Polish you would kind of convey by using endings. So you have to be careful, and this actually proves that it's important to know grammar, that communication is not always enough, okay? That you can convey different things just by saying something. When I came to the party, John left. When I came to the party, John was leaving. When I came to the party, John had already left. 3 completely different meanings. When I came to the party, John left. That's one event after the other, event after event. Look at me, you can very simply present it in here. This is now. I came to the party, John left, one after the other. So, possibly, John doesn't like me, and he saw that I came in, and he left because of me, possibly. But it's one after the other. I came, he left. Then, when I came to the party, John was leaving. That means that when I came to the party, John was putting on his shoes or his coat. So he was in the middle of leaving. And when I came, he was putting on his clothes or shoes or coat, whatever, and then stood up, said bye, and left. So in this situation, it had no connection. It had nothing to do with me. Okay? I came in the middle of his leaving. And the last situation, this is now. When I came to the party, John had already left. That means that when I came to the party, John was not there at all. He had left beforehand. So we didn't meet, we didn't see each other. I came and I said, well, where's John? And he said, he has already left. Yes? So this is those 3 sentences have completely different meanings, 3 completely different meanings. Okay, and one more kind of thing that appears very, very often in matura examination, 2 different beginnings in transformations, and you have to be careful about them. The first one I've talked about already with present perfect. This is the first time I have done it, yes? So when you have a sentence, well, this is lovely, I have never tasted anything like that, and you have the beginning, this is the first time, this should be followed by present perfect, yes? So this is the first time I have seen it, this is the first time I have tasted it. But there is a trick because there is a seemingly similar beginning. It's years or it's ages since, okay? And this does not mean present perfect. It's ages means it has been a long time. So this is present perfect in a way. It's years, it stands for it has been years since. So what it should be followed by is past simple. It's ages since I saw you last. It's ages or it's years since I rode a bicycle because I haven't had a chance, yes? It's years since I did something, okay? Those 2, they are very, very commonly used in transformations in matura examination. Okay, this is homework on past tenses. You have present perfect here as well. You have past simple and past simple, present perfect continuous. And this is the second one. This is multiple choice. And this involves also past perfect. Okay? Now, let me just go back. Here, you have to choose one of the 3 options. Here, you have 4 options and you choose one. Okay. Do we have time? Because I have future tenses and there are quite a few. So, should I start or should I not? It's better. Okay, so I've been told that we don't really have much time. We have like 1 or 2 minutes only, so it's no use starting the future tenses. This is what we're going to do then on Monday, and I am sure that we're going to meet on Monday. So future tenses next time, and the future tenses, with future tenses, we have quite a few things here, quite a few tenses, so I don't want to start now when we have 1 minute because I won't be able to finish. I want to do everything in one take. Now, this is very important. Whenever you are unsure of which tense to use, if you don't know which tense, use a timeline. Draw it for yourself, put the activities that you have in the sentence on the timeline. See if it's connected to the present or if it's not. If it's connected, then it has to be present perfect. If it's not connected, see if you can understand when it happened. If you can, then it should be past simple. If it was progressive, past continuous. If you have a story not connected to the present and you have flashbacks, you use past perfect. Pretty good organization of tenses. English is very, very logical in this respect. Past tenses are very, very logical, okay? So thank you very much for today, and I will see you on Monday with future tenses. It's taking me a little bit more time, but it's better to explain really everything thoroughly than just to go with the flow and do it very quickly. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.